Hey everyone, welcome to another MLM Dumpster Fire. Today we are here to watch a two-parter. This is actually one very long podcast episode from one of our favorite network marketing coaches, Eric Worre. And I say that very much sarcastically, but I saw him interviewing this top MLM leader, so I decided we should cover it. However, it is in Eric's fashion, podcast fashion, I guess. It's like 50 something minutes long. So today we're gonna do 26 or 20-ish minutes, and then we'll come back on Friday for part 2. I have not watched this. I'm blind reacting. I just saw that she's a top leader in network marketing and she's going to talk about her story, rags to riches kind of story. So I'm excited to hear that. For you guys who hate Eric but are still here, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're a trooper. I promise we're going to take a break from Eric and his podcast for a while, but I couldn't skip over these podcasts with top leaders. Before we get into the video, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. That's a nice free way to support my channel. And as always, big shout out to all my channel members. Thank you guys for being here, and let's just get into this.
Welcome to the Excellence Project. My name is Eric Worre, and today I have a top earner in network marketing, Sarah Zalecki. And Sarah's going to talk about her journey, her struggles, how she overcame them, how to work together with her husband in the business, in the same household, while raising a family. So many lessons learned, so many good ideas to be able to help your business. So with no further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Sarah Zalecki. Sarah Zalecki.
Eric Worre.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good to see you. What most people don't know, Sarah Zalecki is top earner in network marketing, makes a lot of money, does well, has a big team. Married to Tony, who we'll have a separate conversation with. I wanted to have a conversation just with you because the stories are different, even though you guys build a team together.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
But what people might not know is we're cousins.
We look so much alike.
Exactly. My mom's brother is your dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this journey, I know a lot about your journey. I probably don't know everything about your journey, but
He could have just said our parents are siblings. Okay, whatever.
I know quite a bit about your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the quick kind of summary of how you started off in your career, what your drives were, what your interests were, what you thought you were going to do with your life, and then ultimately how you found the network marketing profession.
So I love people. And
Always
love people. Yeah. And that's, I think, was a huge driver for me and why I said yes to network marketing. Like I never fell in love with the possibility of making all this.
Somehow I have my suspicions that you always love all people because some people are scumbags, but also, do you think she saw Eric doing network marketing and then she got into it herself?
Money and doing all those things, but I just loved being around.
I love when they say they love people. How do you love people? But you're in a product-based pyramid scheme, in my opinion. Or maybe she's not doing MLM anymore. Maybe she's just a coach now since she's at the top. But how do you say you love people while you're literally in a business model where the majority of people below you, the majority of your downline, are working for free, never making any profit? They're trying to work this business. They're trying to get where you are at the top. They'll never make it though, and it has nothing to do with their work ethics or how much effort they put in. It's just the business model is the issue. And you're in an unethical business model, in my opinion, where you're scamming other people out of money and they're working for free while you get all the benefits, but you say that you love people. How does that work? I have questions. So many questions.
People, I love the support, the camaraderie. Like that's really what has always driven me. And when I first got introduced, I was a nanny. I was actually living in Dallas, Texas, and was living somebody else's life though. You know what I mean? Driving somebody else's car, living in someone else's house, raising someone else's kids. And I was like, none of this is mine. And so I moved back to Minneapolis and started working. And then that's when I got introduced to network marketing.
What were you doing in Minneapolis?
I was actually working for a travel company. And so I was doing like sales for them. So I was negotiating between like big airlines and then also travel companies, like travel agencies in the cities. And
growing up, your parents weren't entrepreneurial, were they?
No, my dad was a mailman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a MLM, but I think the number one thing for us is like, I started working when I was 13.
You did?
Yeah. I worked at the state fair. I was selling turkey drumsticks.
Why is he asking her these questions as if he doesn't know? Maybe they're not close cousins. I mean, it is your close cousin because your parents are siblings, but like, wouldn't he know some of these things about her or about her dad, who's his uncle? I know he has to ask questions for the podcast, like for the plot, but the way he's asking it makes it sound like he has no clue, as if they're not close at all. Well, maybe they're not close. Not gonna meddle into their family tree and family relations.
Turkey drumsticks in the Minnesota State
And they're
Fair.
like as big as my head. Yeah.
And anybody who's from the Midwest or from Minnesota specifically, the Minnesota State Fair is a big deal.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So we had different friends that had different booths and
Yeah. So I worked at the charcoal hut.
the charcoal hut selling huge
Turkey
drumsticks.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you were doing that at 13, filling in for some who owned the.
So my dad's best friend owned it.
So they just needed workers.
Yeah. Yeah. And my dad's like, you need to work. I'm like, okay.
So were you outside of a couple weeks a year, were you doing anything else at the time to make money, or was that just
just then, but then, I mean, at the age of 15, then I was working all the time. I was working at, oh gosh, what's the name? Do you remember like Bonanza?
Sure.
Like the Golden Corral? Like
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
me. I worked there. I like
Big
worked
buffet.
Dude, I worked the salad bar. I had to work the kale on the ice. I mean, it's so disgusting. I think about it now, but yeah, I worked there and worked a lot of hours and, I don't know. I like to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just fell in love with working.
So were you doing it because you wanted to have something to do? Did you want the money to be able to buy stuff when you were a teenager?
Yeah, I did. I definitely
The reason why
did.
I'm asking, sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
The reason why I'm asking is, were you entrepreneur?
If you watched Eric's podcast, like the other episodes that I've covered, or just his podcast in general, you're gonna notice that they're super unprofessional with the way they interrupt each other. Like, just Eric interrupts everyone that's on his podcast. But the thing with these people is that they don't let anyone interrupt them, so they end up speaking over each other. She stopped talking, but like when we were watching Justin Prince or Gina and her husband, I forgot, Steve, I think is his name, they were just talking over each other throughout the whole thing. It was painful.
Minded early on, or did you just want to be a worker? You just wanted to get out of the house? Did you want?
No, I definitely was. So I was involved in a national program called DECA. If you're familiar with DECA, and I loved it. And so I competed in different things like soft sales and like free enterprise project. I had to come up with my own thing and
What was
all
it?
that.
What did you come up with? Do you remember?
No, I don't even remember. I did it with like 3 other girls. But what's interesting with the soft sell is I actually sold. My mom was a customer. Well, she was a distributor, but wasn't really building in a network marketing company. But I didn't know that it was network marketing. And so I took that product line and I sold it and I went to nationals. So I was actually already doing network marketing.
So
and I was
what's this company?
Should I say the company?
Sure.
It was Melaleuca.
So Melaleuca.
Can you
way
believe
back,
it? I wasn't even 17 years old. And I went to nationals at Anaheim.
You were at nationals, and DECA is this like young entrepreneurial
marketing
club.
Yeah, totally.
So you qualify locally, regional, go to nationals.
Yeah.
Basically representing a network marketing product.
Totally. Yeah. And I sold it.
Wow.
I know. Like if you asked me to like, what was a pitch? I have no idea. Like, I don't remember. I don't even know. So that's what was so crazy. I didn't even know it was network marketing. No clue at all. No clue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So your mom was involved then?
Yeah. She
was she
had a little bit of a team.
She have a little team?
little team. Yeah.
Okay,
team.
but you didn't know much about it.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, that was just a thing mom did. And you say, oh, I'll go mess with that a little bit.
Yeah.
My mom had the same thing, but with the Cambridge diet plan. It was like a
was that weight loss?
Weight loss shake.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, I think I was too little.
The first thing she ever did was a company called Slender Now. And I want to be slender now. But it was a shake thing. And then it turned into the Cambridge, which was kind of hot at the time. And she had a little bit of success doing that. I just remember us not having any money and then all of a sudden having a little. money
Wow.
because of what she was doing.
Oh, that's
bringing
awesome.
that in. So my mom and dad kind of been involved for on some level my whole life, all the way from time it didn't register to me when it was happening, what it was, what they were doing. I didn't understand it. Didn't see any kind of connection to it. Probably since I was maybe 15 years old or something. All right. So this all happens. Did you go to college?
For a trimester.
Okay. Same as me. Where?
At Normandale.
Normandale Community College.
But it's
same
called,
as me?
it was like No Mindale.
No Mindale.
Right. Because you don't have to
There's this place in Minnesota called Normandale Community College, which they accept anybody if you have the money.
Right.
There is no criteria. I think you have to have at least a GED to get in, but I think that's it.
I did have that. Just so you know.
So we both ended up going for one trimester to the same place.
Yeah.
But
do you know why I dropped out? Because I had to take I wanted to have a business major, but I had to take an accounting class, and it was so hard because like I'm not really a numbers girl, and the accounting freaked me out so much. I was like, I can't do this, and I quit.
Just left.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
So then you did the nanny thing.
Yep, did the nanny thing.
And then you came back and were doing the travel thing.
Yep. And then I was dating a guy who you know a long time ago, long time ago. He's actually a chef now. And so he introduced me to network marketing. But he was in for like 4 months. And he never.
I know this person?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, is it a secret?
No.
Who is it?
It was Mateo.
Oh.
Did you know that?
Yes, I remember now.
Yeah. So that's how I got introduced. But he had been involved for 4 months and never talked to me.
Right.
Like, and it was a product company. Never saw a product in his apartment. Nothing. It was like all hidden. It was crazy.
But I remember the company you got involved with, which was very kind of young, energetic, boiler room kind of vibe.
Everybody was single.
It was like Wolf of Wall Street in network marketing.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, you would go crazy in your standing at pounding on their chests and standing on desks and.
I mean, we worked from 7 a.m. to like 10 at night.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
Yeah. Just slamming and jamming, booking appointments.
Yeah. Getting in front of people.
Getting in front of people, having conversations. So did you have any success with that?
I did.
Yeah?
I did.
What did success look like with that?
I mean, at the end, I was like right at the tip of like 6 figures a year from that. And then the company went out of business. That was 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Yeah.
So you built it up to got it almost to 6 figures. And I could say now, I mean, there was a reasonably good training ground for a lot of people to learn some skills in that company.
Oh, it taught us everything.
But I'll just say that the owners mismanaged what they had built.
Right.
And were kindly asked to leave the profession and not come back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
what network marketing company are they talking about? I may have missed it, but who are these owners? What happened? Tell us the tea.
When this happens and you'd built all your faith and trust in this environment, what was that like emotionally?
It was hard because, we had training centers that we all worked in. And I was working in Louisville, Kentucky. And I also had an office outside of Cincinnati and also one outside of Lexington. So I was like 24, 25 years old. And I had an overhead of
you had
$20,000 a month.
And this is one of the things that I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's very rare today, is distributors setting up offices for reps to come into an office and work together in kind of a
and people could
center,
rent desks, right, and work
renting desks.
Yeah,
and it was kind of this whole model to collaborate and work together. But the downside of that, like you said, is when it went south, there's a bunch of people signed on leases.
Oh, it was crazy.
And had overhead.
Crazy.
So what was the result of that?
Well, two of the leases I actually was able to get out of, which was a huge blessing. And then the other one, wasn't so great. And then I ended up living in San Antonio and went into recruiting. And so I went
corporate recruiting.
Because I'm like, well, I'm going to take all the skills I learned and then put it there and, so I did it, but it was very hard for me because I was like, man, this is going against everything that I taught. Right. And learn.
Well, you're using the skills, but
I
you're
am,
not
but,
getting leverage.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember for a long time, I was like, my gosh, I like spent all this time learning all this.
Wait, she went into recruitment and she's saying what she was doing in recruitment is going against everything that she was how? You were actually recruiting people to work jobs and contracting jobs, but they were actually getting paid for those jobs. Comparing to when you're recruiting in an MLM into your downline where the majority of them are working for free and never profiting. How is being a scammer in an MLM better than being a recruiter? Sure, you earn more money, but you scam people for that money, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, of course. I just don't understand these people. Like, the logic doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But okay, maybe she was brainwashed and young and whatnot. But that was years ago. What's her excuse today? Because I personally think that you can't be in an MLM for decades without realizing that the majority of people in your downline are working for free.
Skills, like it can't be for nothing. Like a network market, you know what I mean? This can't just be over now, because I was so passionate about the profession at that point, but I didn't really know where else to go in network marketing at that time.
So you needed a job in the meantime, pay the bills.
Yeah.
And were you still dating same person?
No.
At the time?
No. Do you know what? After I went to a train, should I say this? Okay.
Sure.
So I went to my very first training a week in, and I flew to Dallas, Texas all by myself. And I was in a room of like 6,000 people. And they just talked about you are who you hang around, your environment, leveling up, all this stuff. And he actually tried to talk me out of going to the training. And I was enrolled by him. It's crazy. And so I came back and I was like, oh man, this isn't going to work. And I broke up with him. And is that hard? Is that harsh? Like, I mean, but I knew
he was in it for 4 months and he probably realized that it was a scam. So he tried to get her out of the MLM as well, or network marketing, and she dumped him. Why? Because she went to a conference, an event, a training, whatever, where she was taught that you are who you hang around with. People that, and we hear this so often in these MLM trainings and Zoom calls, people who are not supportive, you need to keep them away, you need to stop hanging out with them, or you at least need to stop talking to them about your MLM business. This is textbook example of somebody being manipulated and dumping their boyfriend over an MLM because he wasn't supportive of her MLM. That is just, it's not funny. Like, they're laughing at it, but it's not funny. She was brainwashed into dumping her boyfriend because he wasn't supporting her MLM biz. That is just so twisted. It's not funny. Like, it's sad. Poor Mateo.
to my environment, I was like, man, I really want this and I really want to grow. And so then
you didn't see your paths
not at
aligning.
all. It was just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so grateful this day.
It wasn't about the training, I'm sure. If it was just about that, but you were madly in love, you'd figure out. It was just another thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you end up breaking up.
Yeah. And then I worked my butt off. That's when I worked for 4.5 years and, started figuring out, and then it went out of business. And then I started doing like corporate recruiting. And then that's when I ended up back in Minneapolis doing corporate recruiting. And then that's when we reconnected again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and how'd you do as a corporate recruiter? Decent?
I did great. But it's funny. My boss every like couple weeks would call me into his office and he's like, you're not going to leave us, are you? Because he knew kind of how my heart was, and I was crushing the accounts and everything. But I think he still must have known like, she's not going to be here like super long, whatever it was. I mean, I never really said I wasn't happy, but I think he kind of knew I was going to be onto bigger things.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that, they get their heart broken once and say, well, I gave it a shot.
She says bigger things. Well, she's a scammer in an MLM, in my opinion. How ironic.
I'm just going to go take this job now because it's going to pay the bills, and they're not completely happy. Most people listening to this aren't completely happy if they have a job. And not saying that anything's perfect. I mean, there's, inside.
Something that always throws me off with these MLM leaders and other scammers, in my opinion, is the fact that they always equal success with money. But my personal opinion on that is it doesn't matter if you have a shit ton of money if you got that money unethically. I just don't understand, like, bragging about how rich and thinking you're so successful, you've done so good for yourself on the backs of your downline, on the backs of the people that work hard for you. Well, they think they work for themselves, but they actually work for you because you get all the benefits from their hard work when you're in an MLM.
Network marketing is not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of hard work, and there's ups and downs, and the struggle I want to talk about a bit, because we worked together early 2000s, yeah, or mid
2005.
Yeah, mid 2000s. So 2005 or so, we started working together, and you guys worked hard. And what ended up happening is you met Tony.
Yes.
You met your husband.
Yeah.
Within like 3 or 4 months of us,
Right. Something like that.
building in the field together. 3 or 4 months, and you guys hit it off, and it was great. It was fun to watch you guys with sparkles in your eye, connecting to that whole thing. And I'll tell you a quick story about how this all happened. So, were you connected with the California trip that I took when I met him?
Yeah, I'm the one that set it up.
You set it up. Okay.
I was the connector.
Okay. So Sarah says, I'm going out to Sacramento.
No, I had a really good friend that lived out there. You were going out there.
Yeah.
And so you said, hey, do you know anyone there? I
Do you
said,
know
I
anybody?
do.
Yeah.
And so I called him. I said, you've got to go meet my cousin Eric Warren. He's like, who is Eric? Because he had been in the profession, but then had been out for a while.
Yeah.
And so,
This
that
is
was
Bobby.
Yeah. So that was way before like generic network marketing trained. Like there was no such thing. Right.
Sure.
And so then he drugged Tony. He didn't want to go by himself. So he's like, Tony, you got to go with me to meet this guy.
So yeah. So here's the story. I'm in a hotel conference room, and I'm doing presentations, and this Bobby and Tony are supposed to come join. And I go through my whole presentation. I'm in like the last 5 minutes of it. And then they walk in, all kind of cocky car sales guys, and I'm like, I'm done.
Right.
And this is like the last presentation of the day. I'm kind of done. You know what I mean? I'm the kind of person that, if Maureen and I are somewhere and we're going to go there, we're going to go have dinner, and then we're going to come home, I'm fine. But if we go there, we're having dinner, and halfway on the way home, she said, oh, let's stop at the grocery store, I'm not fine now. You know what I mean? It's just like got in the way of my, of
You're like, my agenda was going home.
Yes. If you had told me ahead of time, I would have it in my head and be good. Right. So somehow somebody says, well, can you meet with them after this meeting and do a presentation again? So they're, I don't know, 45 minutes late. They walk in last 5 minutes, and it's the last thing in the world, because mentally I'm done. I'm going to my room. I'm going to stare at the wall. The introvert is screaming. He needs a little bit of alone time. But I'm like, all right, I'm here.
Eric loves to mention that he's an introvert, or he used to be an introvert. I don't think he says that he's still an introvert. I think network marketing changed him from an introvert to an extrovert or whatever.
So I remember we grabbed this little table in the lounge, and we sit out in the lounge, order a soda or something. And I say, okay, guys. And I lay it out to him. It's Tony,
and Bobby,
your future husband,
yeah,
and Bobby. And so they both end up joining, and then a couple months later, we have our first big event in Chicago. You guys meet, and,
I still have that picture of it was like 12 of us.
Yeah.
And you in the middle. I still have that picture. It's
you got to send it to me.
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
Got to send it to me. Maybe we'll drop it into this pod.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go to work.
Right.
And I'm going to fast forward a bit.
Okay.
Because I want to get to a part of the story that I'm very interested in.
Okay.
Is you guys worked hard.
Yes.
You're still working on yourselves.
Yes.
Still figuring out your skills, still figuring out how to grow teams, still figuring out how to be leaders, all that stuff. You have some background, right? Tony certainly has sales background. He's a crusher in car sales, but you kind of got yourself to the point where you were making money, but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And something had to give.
Mm-hmm.
You got yourself in a situation where you're both full-time
Mm-hmm.
and you needed to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't going to give up on network marketing, but you needed to figure out something out.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you guys decide to do in that moment?
That's when he decided, well, we were living in California then at that point. So I think he just said, well, I'm going to go sell cars because I know how to do it. I know how to make money. I'm great. Like that's what I'm going to go do, and at first I was like, well, I'll go, because as a sales, I'm just like, I don't want to put it on you. I'm like, honey, I'll go find something. And then he's so cute. He was like, no, women crush network marketing. You need to stay in the field. You need to stay in the field. And so that was super hard for me though. Every day I think I felt guilty that he was there, because I knew that.
So they were both trying to work their MLM biz, but they just weren't earning enough money to get them by. So he had to go sell cars again. Would you look at that? You and 99% of people who join MLM in general, a lot of the people are not profiting at all. A lot of the people go into debt or they just end up working for free.
His heart was us together working, and so that was super tough.
Yeah,
Super
but you're
tough.
also proud of him though, too, right?
Very.
Just to do
Very.
the grind.
He would call 100 people a day.
Yeah.
He was like, it was unbelievable what he did.
So to get to where you needed to go, you focused on the network marketing aspect of things.
Yeah.
He focused on grinding car sales.
Yeah.
In order to be able to get yourself financially where you needed to be. How long was he doing the car sales that he didn't want to do while you're building the network marketing dream?
I think a good year.
About a good year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, okay, we got some funds together.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Paid off debt and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that situation,
did she just say they paid off their debt with his car sales business? So not only they weren't earning enough money in an MLM, but they were in debt because they were trying to work the MLM and it wasn't working for them. That's what I heard there. It's not how he said it. You were both earning a little bit of money, but not enough. They got into debt because of network marketing. And then he had to get a car sales job to pay off their debt and get them back on track. That's my interpretation of what was said here. And that's sad because that happens to so many people out there who join MLM and they never get to be successful like this lady ended up being. What's her name again? Sarah, I think. I don't do this on purpose. I'm really bad with names, so sorry about that.
what are some of the lessons that you learned? Like, would you say in 2005 to 2010?
Oh my goodness. I think during that period, we both were so serious about our business. And so because of that, I feel like that really held us back, because I think people aren't necessarily attracted to such serious,
You were like
intense,
grim, like,
yes.
"Arr."
Yeah.
Like the super grind mentality.
Yeah. Like we are actually, I mean, if he was sitting here, he'd probably tell me the same thing. Like, I think we were proud of it, right? We were proud that we were like
super grinder.
Yeah. Yeah. We thought, and obviously that repels people.
Does it? I mean, did it attract some?
Some, yeah, depending on personality types, some. But I also feel like too, with a lot of the training that it had over the years, like my environment, my mentors, I guess if you would call them that, I didn't necessarily call them that, but as people that I was around were very assertive, very aggressive. And it was a lot more, all of my mentors really have always been men for me, all of them. Like so all my sponsors, all my, you know what I mean?
You were modeling that energy?
100%. 100%. And so I think because of that, it was just so aggressive, and I mean, I've had people, I remember people telling me, they're like, man, you're like the most aggressive woman I've ever met, and I didn't take that as like a bad thing. I was like, oh, thanks. Like, I mean, but then I realized now I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was just trying to be all these people that I wasn't necessarily like, I'm like, all the different personality types,
Uh-huh.
right? Red, yellow, whatever, and, spirit animals and all that. Like for me, like I was proud. I was like, I remember when I took the test, I was like, I want to be 100% red. Like that was my mentality. Like I was like, and for some weird reason, I thought that would be, that was like the best, when the reality was I have a streak of red, but I have a ton of yellow and compassion and nurturing and blue having fun. And, so I think once I was willing to like really show up as the personality that I am is when the business got
Started
totally
changing.
changed.
Interesting.
Totally. Leads fell in my lap. People wanted to be around me, like
You started to attract a more of a cross section of the world.
yeah, for sure.
Explain Jessie Lee, who was, rest in peace Jessie Lee, but I mean, come on, what better example than her? She was really aggressive and she still got really successful in an MLM. So that doesn't really matter, I think. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter in general, because in MLMs you either have to join an MLM company at its early stages where you can actually recruit a bunch of people and rank up quickly, or have a big social media following that you can recruit into your MLM team. I was hoping she was gonna give us a story, like what exactly happened, what and when did it change, and how she got successful in an MLM in the end, because she was struggling for so long. Well, both her and her husband. But all she's gonna give us is, I changed from aggressive to more yellow personality or orange or whatever the hell. That's all she did to be successful in an MLM.
Huh, interesting.
For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was there anything that kind of triggered that idea that this isn't working?
I think you.
Really?
Yeah. Because you're like, Sarah, you're so hard on people.
Huh.
Like Sarah, like, and in the most loving way, right? I never took it as,
Right.
like, I can't believe he said I'm mad at him. I really always looked at it like, oh, wow. Okay. He's right. So from that, then I think I was mature enough at that point where I could step out and be like, okay, so what does he actually mean by that? What are the situations that I am doing it where I am maybe hard on my team, or I am maybe hard on Tony, or I am, hard on myself, which I for sure have been over the years. So I think they just, just acknowledging some of those things where, you are willing to sit down. And that's why I think mentorship is so important. It's like if people are not surrounded by people that are like, I love you, but you can do better, then I just don't know if you really have a shot of really leveling up. Like I think for so long until like 2005, I never really looked at like what does leveling up actually really look like? Being able to take personal inventory and owning your shit and, actually moving towards applying the things that need to be, changed and that type of thing.
Would you like to dominate in network marketing? Would you like to go through the ranks, get to the top in your network marketing company? Well, I've got something to tell you. You can get inspired all you want. You can be motivated all you want. But when you're done jumping up and down, the answer to dominance is education. You have to learn what the professionals do. What do these people do that's so different? How do they recruit on demand? How do they build teams and duplicate like crazy? How do they become such effective leaders? This is not something that you are born with. It's something that you learn. And GoPro Experience this year, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. This is the Super Bowl of network marketing. This is the World Cup of network marketing. This 3-day event, guess what you'll learn? How to dominate, how to crush it, how to have a breakthrough, how to stop crawling in network marketing, how to have the information and the education and the roadmap necessary to get the results that you've always wanted. If you're hungry, if you're willing, if you're coachable, you need to be at GoPro, December 1, 2, and 3. Click on the link if you're serious about your career. Let us help you become a recruiting machine, duplicate like crazy, and be an amazing leader. 3 days to change your life. You cannot afford to miss it. Click on the link and I'll see you there.
Wow, that was super cringy, Eric. Okay, the Super Bowl of network marketing. I decided that that is a perfect cringe way to end this video and the first parter. So hope you guys are gonna come back for part 2. If not, if you've had enough of Eric, I totally understand. Thank you for being here. If you're still here, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. That's a nice way to support my channel if you would like. And as always, big shout out to all my channel members. Bye.